I don't know. So you walk outside, the captain leading the way, and all of the vibrant colors are muted. Everything around you that you've seen and gotten to know, and all of these places, everything is just off. There's something about it. You don't know what it is. Everything is just shaded with gray. The sky itself even seems a little muted, and it almost comes directly up to the barracks themselves, but it kind of stops. The captain looks around. This is not good.
No shit.
How close is the nearest gray thing, essentially?
The nearest gray thing to you is probably a brief walk across the path. So just like a trot, if you were to trot for like a second, you'd probably get over to the other side.
I'm going to kind of just walk forward a little bit. Do I hear anything?
Nothing. Which in and of itself is concerning.
Yeah.
It is dead quiet.
So everything has been depleted of color in that like circle area, right?
Right. As far as you can tell in your area.
Can I? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna be like, can I throw my cloak in the colored area? Is that close enough?
Yeah, it is.
Can I throw it and see what happens?
Yep. So as you throw your cloak, you kind of, pull it off real quick, wad it up, toss it across. And as it lands on the gray area, nothing happens.
So it's the same color.
Yep, there's just a small kind of ploof of dust, and that's about it.
Oh, dust.
Yeah, I mean it's a dirt path in the medieval times. Like,
sorry, I'm trying to interpret the hitting me.
It's all right.
Okay,
I'm gonna creep forward to kind of like where the quote unquote boundary is, and just kind of gently put my hand across it and see if anything happens.
Foulk, are you doing the same? Because you said you were kind of trotting across.
Yeah, that was his plan. He wants to kind of get into an area that has that gray and like touch it, see what it is.
Okay.
If it's like a layer of something.
Okay.
So
Marielle, you kind of look over at Foulk. Foulk, you look back at Marielle. You two work really well together. You always have. So it's just kind of intuitive that you both would start walking forward. Marielle, you kind of like wave your hand across it, in the crouch battle ready pose, just in case, and nothing happens. As you do so, Foulk kind of, cautiously takes a few steps forward, and so far, nothing occurs. You don't feel anything different. You don't see anything different. The ground's not caving in below you.
I'm gonna creep in behind him so that I have his back, and I'm gonna ready an attack just in case.
Okay, Artis, what are you up to?
Oh, I'm just hanging in the background, waiting to see what happens to them.
Okay. What's going through your head? Like, why are you just kind of keeping your crossbow ready and just,
Exactly. I'm just holding back, because I'm obviously the range, so I'm just keeping far back, letting them explore. That's what they're there for. Trying not to trip over my own feet in the background.
Is the priest with us?
The priest is with you, yes. Hold on, let me drag him back.
Where's he at?
Sorry.
I throw a glance back and I go, hey, have you ever seen something like this before?
Yeah.
Perris is just slack-jawed. Like, he walks outside and is just completely almost catatonic for a moment. I have only heard of a few things that would even be close to. And it's only happened twice in the last 2 years.
An answer would be great, instead of building up the mystery.
It's the only thing I've heard of is an ashfall.
An ashfall? Yeah, what's that?
It's hard to explain. Nobody really knows what it is at this point. All they know is that everything turns to dust in its place. They're just standing pillars of ash of what we used to know, and people caught in it. Oh God. And as he kind of like looks past the captain, he kind of points because this is something that nobody has seen before.
The ash ball? Or something else? Oh my god! What are those?
What are those? So
right
as
now they kind of look like weird silhouettes in like an old Batman show or something.
so
like you guys seen the Batman the animated series, the opening, right?
Yeah.
Like they look like those like dudes at the beginning with Batman and shit.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I see it now. So as Perris kind of points with his mouth agape still, you guys see not just one, not just two, but 15 of these shadows.
I thought you were gonna say 3.
Yeah, I was really hoping for 3 there.
Just this mob of these shadows have come. These shadowy creatures are walking the streets, and in the morning dawn you can barely make them out except for the piercing white of their eyes. And as they're kind of stumbling, straggling along, they all turn at once to look at Perris.
Oh, that's not creepy as fuck.
Maybe they want him.
And there's just a piercing wail that erupts from one in the very center that is joined almost outwardly until there's an entire chorus of howls that chills you to the bone. Everybody make me a will save, please.
Just D20?
Yep.
14.
5.
Atrus up to his normal trick.
I have no will.
So
How do I will, guys?
So Foulk, you and Izette, it's scary. It's scary as fuck.
Ugh.
But you manage to keep your weapons ready. You manage to somehow, even though you have no idea what the fuck is going on, and these things are just screaming, you manage to keep your wits about you. Marielle, you and Artis, not so much. You guys are, it just pierces into your heart in a way that you have never heard before. Artis, you might have heard something along the lines of just one of those cries when you had to put your horse down because it broke its leg. And
so basically it's a creature in extreme pain.
Marielle,
that's what it sounds like,
sliding
except
I
multiplied by
was trying to
15, and it's rattling in your ears.
Okay.
So,
much more cacophonous.
So how would either of you react to this crippling fear that has just overwhelmed you?
Stumble backwards.
I think I'd probably drop the crossbow.
Okay.
Probably like kind of cross my arms like in front of my face, trying to like, you know, like, oh god, I'm scared kind of a thing, you know?
We'd have to hope the crossbow doesn't go off when it hits the ground, but it wasn't a critical fail, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's okay.
No, you're fine for the moment. Captain Aldwy covers his ears and holds his helmet really close to his head, his sword lightly touching his back, until the howl ends. And as you all look up toward them, they all start moving forward as one. Their eyes focused on Perris.
Yeah.
Perris himself has no weapons at the moment.
Oh god, my love.
And he's looking around panicked. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here now. And the captain looks up and points at all 4 of you. Get your shit together. Get Perris to the keep now.
Sir.
Where's the keep at?
The keep
It's
is
in the middle.
right in the middle.
This
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Aren't there barracks right behind us, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
But they're just like cots and stuff like that, and where you keep a minuscule amount of weapons and stores of food.
Alright, so at this point...
We don't know
What?
how far this thing extends. What if the keep was affected by this?
Are you asking the captain?
Yeah.
In the moment where there's a horde of 15 shadows walking towards you?
Probably.
Okay.
She's terrified. She doesn't want to fight more of these things, whatever the fuck they are, and the idea of running into more of them, it's probably pretty terrifying.
If you get to the keep and it's affected, get out of the city by any means possible.
Sir.
Okay. Foulk is going to raise his shield and yell for the rest of them to get him out of there.
Well, you're the self-sacrificing martyr.
Well, his family's gone. His dad has a blacksmith shop here, and
Well, you don't know what happened.
oh,
Yeah, you don't know if
Yeah, nobody. The only
so
thing
we don't
that
know what Ashfall actually does.
correct. The only thing that
Should be
Pierre has
located.
said is that is an ashfall, and now there are these shadow creatures walking around.
Okay, cool.
And they're not
Fine.
recognizable, right?
They are in humanoid shapes.
Okay, but we
that's
can't
about
make
it.
out distinguishing features, yeah.
No,
Okay.
I mean one has a hat. You might recognize the hair of another one, but there are no distinguishing features. No.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm gonna lash out at one of them at least.
Okay, roll me a d20.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
That would be Foulk who made the D20 roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got.
I'm
a plus
sorry.
1 to strength.
I'm so confused because our names are different.
I know. I'm sorry. I meant to change them. It's one of the things I didn't get to so far. My
Nah, it's
apologies.
alright.
Do we have to do initiative
Bam.
first, or?
Nope. We're doing more of a cinematic thing.
Okay.
Oh.
Captain
You're
Aldouy is
all
going to
gonna
be
die.
charging up next to you as well. So if you would like to, that gives you inspiration as your captain kind of wields forward with his gigantic two-handed broadsword.
So that means I get to roll twice.
Can
and
I-
take
You
the
would roll,
highest.
yep, exactly.
Can I fling both daggers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Since like Foulk is going in to stab the one, I throw like kind of the daggers over his shoulder since we're like doing teamwork stuff.
Okay, yep, that's fine. So
I'm
go ahead
probably
and roll.
gonna pick up my crossbow and fire at one of them.
Score!
All right.
While that's
Nice.
happening, can I grab him and like start running away a
Oh,
little bit?
abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay.
By all
Yeah,
means,
so you
can
guys do
so.
the fighting. I'll do the bodyguarding with the hot guy.
So you can, I'll
I
get you
swear
over
to
here.
God, it said if you find any fucking alleys and take a detour, I will murder you in your sleep.
Artist,
For all... Goodness.
artist, sir, what you doing?
I'm gonna pick up the crossbow and fire at one of the things.
Okay, by all means, please go ahead.
Let's see if I get my high roll of the night. Yeah, it did.
You have to blow on the virtual dice.
Okay.
Oh,
So we'll go in the order of the rolls. Malcolm, you swing out. You're the brandishing of your captain's sword behind you, giving you such confidence. Like he's just waiting in the battle. Doesn't matter what the fuck it is. He is dedicated to the protection of both you and his constituents. Did you add a +1 to your roll? Yes, you did. Okay. Yep, you got those already. However, as soon as you go to whisk your sword through it with your shield up and try and go for the neck area, it just kind of goes through it.
Oh God. Do I see that? Can I see that from where I
Yes,
am?
yeah, you can see it.
Oh. Fuck.
What in the name of...
When Captain Aldouy comes up, he just misses entirely. Like, he goes for a broadsword to try to get 3 of them, and they all just kind of, not so much step backwards, they just kind of flash, and they're suddenly in a new location.
What the hell
All
are
3
these
of them.
things?
And then, Artis, your crossbow bolt looks like it's going true. You signaled the one directly in front of Aldouy and let it fly center of mass, exactly like you've been taught. And it just kind of, just barely manages to move out of the way in time. Like, again, that quick flash step that just moves it out of the way so that the arrow just barely, like, goes where it was. The only person that manages to hit is Sparrow. I'm sorry, not Sparrow, my apologies. Marielle. As you kind of leap up and toss one of your daggers over the shoulder, you manage to hit one square in the forehead as it's focusing on Captain Aldouy. It almost flash steps into your knife. And it just drops. And as it does so, you can kind of see that the shadow starts to flow off of it, almost as if mist off of a block of ice. It's not melting, it's just kind of flowing.
It's not creepy or anything.
So the captain turns around, grabs you, Foulk, and just kind of thrusts you back, both of you. Go! Get him out! And proceeds to try to backswing again. So everybody gets
Atrus
about...
starts running after the priest and Izette.
Okay, are you going to try and reload while you're running?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Alright, go ahead and roll a dice for me.
Just a d20?
That's correct. If anybody wants to make more than 1 square of movement a turn, please make me a d20 roll.
Oh. I have no idea what a critical success is on reloading a crossbow.
You not only start reloading your crossbow, but as soon as you get the band back, you immediately take off. You feel it secure almost in your bones, and you manage to keep up with everybody.
Cool.
So let me roll a d20. Alright, so, Izette, pretty much everybody but Marielle gets to move an extra square. So you guys just going to hit the south gate and run up Main Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Alright, sounds good. So Artis and Izette would... Actually, Izette, you'd be there. Oh, shit. Now I'm playing fucking bumper cars with this shit. Okay. So you guys just start booking it. Does anybody look back at Captain Aldoy?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Atrus doesn't.
No, I'm gonna just make sure that everyone to my left is good.
Okay.
I'm too busy
keep
reloading
going.
and running at this point, so I don't look back.
That's fine. So, Izette, you kind of reach back to grab Perris to kind of usher him forward faster. And you see Captain Aldoy just wading into them, just trying to lop off as much as possible. What you're horrified to see is that it's not doing anything. And as he gets deeper and deeper into it, they just start kind of circling him. And all you see is a flash of his sword as you round a corner. But you don't see him. You just see shadows.
No! Is what I say.
Okay.
Do you stop or anything?
I'm sorry?
Do you stop and scream no, or do you just keep running?
I just run and scream. I'm talented at that.
Okay. So we'll move everybody up a little bit. I'm assuming you're going to keep running forward?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably going to cut diagonal and start going, but
so-
only if everybody else is.
So as you're running, you notice that you've gone firmly into a section, like everything around you at this point is gray, or shades of gray, with just hints of color. Like you pass a brick building, and it's just gray with just that barest hint of red beneath it. Or, you know, the green shingles on Mrs. Jingleheimer's house is just, like, again, the barest of gray. It almost looks like there's a very, very thin coating of moss on top of just like a fire pit ash. Foulk, can you make me a d20 roll, please? Okay. As you're running through this area here, you start seeing that the shadows are coming out of the building around you, the buildings around you, like one or two at a time. And as you're thinking about it, as you're managing to keep this coherent thought through you, and you pass the family of the Smiths. You know that they have a father, a mother, and 2 children. And you see a larger shadow, a slightly more petite female shadow, and 2 small shadows walking out of their house, all looking at you.
Wouldn't that be his family? Because he said he was the son of Smith.
Well, he is a Smith. This
Okay.
is the Smith family, like their actual last names.
Their name
Back
is
in the
Smith.
day, last names were based off of what you did.
Right,
Yeah.
and that doesn't necessarily mean there's not more than one Smith. But as you walk by that particular family, that is a very strange amount of shadows to come out of that house that looks a lot like them. And you start piecing things together, and as you're running by another house, you know, the single mom with 2 kids who's a waitress at the Shrine of Celsius, same thing, small, petite, 2 kids.
Okay. At that point, I am literally going to yell, "Screw the keep, we need to get out of the city."
Okay, Southgate it is.
Yeah, Southgate sounds good to me.
Okay. So as you guys move forward and continue on, you manage to surround the south gate. What do you do?
Is it closed? Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
closed,
like
yes.
ash?
I don't know. Is it? You haven't touched anything yet.
I'm saying, does it look like ash? Does it
Oh
look
yeah,
like
it
it's covered
absolutely
in
looks
ash?
like ash. Actually, the entire wall that you've been running by has looked
I am
like ash.
holding my shield up and trying to barrel through it.
Okay, so as you kind of hold your shield up and get ready to hit metal on wood, you kind of collapse through it.
Oh,
And
there you go.
the entirety of the 13-foot wall above you starts to shudder.
Oh.
And ash just starts kind of falling. Can you make me a reaction check, please?
All of us or just him?
Everybody, please. Except Foulk.
I got
No,
a
I didn't.
17.
I don't know if I like this virtual dice roller. It's giving me will roll.
Hey, I got a 1 and a 3 on my first two.
He earned that 16, damn it.
Yeah, and the 20 I got earlier.
Okay, so, Foulk, as you fall through, and your shield falls flat, and your arm is practically bound under the weight of your own body for a moment, it's just enough time for the entirety of the ash that's above you to collapse on you.
Okay.
And you are entirely buried underneath probably about a ton of ash.
Rest in pepperonis, Foulk.
The rest of you just see a mountain of ash fall on him. There's no sound. It's just now, all of a sudden, there is a gigantic mountain of ash in front of you.
Can we climb up and over it?
I scream his name. I scream his name as I charge over to the mountain and try and kind of start trying to dig through it.
Okay, by all means, please go ahead.
I'm gonna be like, no, we need to go.
I'm gonna start walking over it and look at Marielle and say, yeah, we need to go. We don't have time to dig him out, and he's probably already dead because that's a mountain of ash.
We need to go. Can I roll a persuasion?
By all means, please go ahead.
I
Get that charisma bonus.
I might as well, right?
Yeah, you got that charisma bonus.
19 I'm persuading.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of sniffle and bite my lip and just kind of nod and start climbing over it.
Sorry, Foulk.
Have Sarge, you've seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the original, right?
Yeah.
As long as they're on their way out, I get to do the shredder where I stick my hand out of the ash and it's all covered in shadows. I'm happy.
Oh, those are sexy shadows. That's not a sexy shadow.
Let's see, hold on. And so as you guys, as she's been just hauling ash out, and the both of you have kind of had to grab her and flip her around and basically shake her to get her attention. You haven't really noticed, but a lot of things have caught up to you.
You're scary.
And you just see just mounding from either side. There's a new group that's approached from your left and a new group that's approached from your right, and all of them are staring at Perris. Marielle, at this point, the one that's directly next to you is starting to get close enough to be able to reach out. And you notice that as the arm starts to sweep towards you, the appendage, is the only real way you can describe it because it's not really a hand, kind of splits into 3 sections. And it swipes at you.
Do we notice how fast they're moving? Are they moving as fast as we are?
Kind of. They're keeping up with you.
Okay.
So we will do... Alright, let's see here. Okay, so the ones
Oh
on
my god.
Artis, you kind of feel the sweeps next to you. One just whiffs by you, and you feel another one just claw across your shoulder.
Okay.
Through the leather that's there. It doesn't hurt. You've been stabbed. You've fallen on your knife. You've had accidentally tripped and kind of hit yourself.
You've accidentally tried to kill yourself.
You've fought against a gnoll and gotten impacted by one of the spikes it wields, and it's not fun. This feels nothing like it. It feels like something is quite literally, just reaching inside of you and pulling that flesh out, and there's just cold where it used to be.
So just numbness, not real pain.
Yeah, exactly. Marielle, you turn around just in time to see it coming at you, and you feel it kind of reach, and you feel that numbness hit right above your belly button and just spread upward and inside of you. So, you all get to see and watch as basically Marielle gets lifted up off the ground at the mercy of one of these things. What's your reaction? You guys got really quiet.
I think.
So, go ahead.
I think. Am I still holding the crossbow? Does my arm still function at this point?
Oh yeah, it's functioning. You don't have a lot of use, so you're going to be taking a -1 to your checks. But
okay, so it's disadvantage, but
yeah, just a -1, not disadvantage.
-1, yeah.
But it's still useful.
Okay.
You kind of feel the numbness start to spread a little bit.
Starting to spread?
Yeah.
Am I grabbed too, or no?
No. Pierre's basically kind of pulled you alongside of him and has grabbed Artis too. And notices that there's an area directly in front of you all that there's a space that they can run. So he basically pulls both of you. You kind of feel a heat washing off of him, and there's a whispered breath. And you both kind of feel, not so much an invigorating touch, but you feel like something's kind of pushing you from behind as he drags you. And you feel like you're running a lot faster than you should be. And he continues to whisper and carry you as these things continue to follow you, but they're starting to lag behind. Where are you going?
I think I would suggest we move towards the west gate, since that's the nearest exit.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue.
And it's obvious
going.
that stuff isn't structurally sound at this point if Foulk can just run through a wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should keep on going straight,
Okay.
and then we'll be able to make the bend because I'll be the fastest.
All right. So you guys start keeping pace with him. Perris is no longer dragging you. You manage to make it up to the keep area. These things back here are starting to lag behind. But as you round the corner to start going toward the west gate, you see more of them.
Oh my god.
Let's keep going north.
I have formed an attachment with Izette. I don't want her to die.
So Perris looks to the left, looks straight ahead, and points toward the castle door. And says, at the very least, we can try and go through it.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it has an exit on the north side. I think we would know that.
Yeah, absolutely it does have an exit on the north side.
Okay, then yeah, sure.
Wait,
Okay.
but doesn't the building look like it's going to collapse?
No, it looks exactly as resolute as it did before.
Okay, let's go
but
to that.
you've seen that it's, that's not necessarily the most acute representation of its structure.
I think as long as we don't ram one of the walls, we'll be okay.
Okay. So please, by all means, move yourselves into the keep. So as you move through, who's going first?
I have a crossbow. She should go back.
Fine.
So Perris is between you guys as the shadows start catching up behind you, and starting to kind of wrap their way around. You manage to thrust yourselves in. You blow through the dust. The door just kind of collapses in on itself, but there's not enough of it to really hinder you. It just kind of collapses into a pile. For a brief worrying moment, it feels like the wall is going to come down behind you, but it remains structurally stable as you start plodding your way through. There is no basement level to this, so everything underneath you is packed dirt, or stone. And as you're basically sprinting through this thing, and you're what really concerns you is as you're running by, there have been no quote-unquote bodies up till this point. There's just been the shadows. You haven't seen anybody laying out in the street. As soon as you walk through the keep, there are just in various positions and places, such as the guard that you guys have grown to know. There's one sitting at a desk that's it looks like a statue, a clay statue, but fractures have developed all over it as though they've been left out in the baking sun for too long without relays. It looks like they could fracture at any moment because as soon as, if you were to touch them, the cracks would just fracture everything and tear it to pieces. But in those cracks...
Like Pompeii?
What's up?
Is it anything like Pompeii?
Yeah, it looks a lot like Pompeii, actually.
Okay.
You do notice, however, that in what little light is in the room, shining from Kalim's light, there's not a shadow on these things. They're not casting a shadow.
Okay.
I feel like there should be more of an impact, but...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think at this point, I'm panicked enough that the only thing I care about is getting out of there.
Okay. So as you but what about you, Izelle?
My sound was cutting in and out. So is the way north still clear?
Yep, the way north, as far as you know, is still clear.
Okay, I'm grabbing Perris and I'm
As far
bolting.
as we know, I don't like that.
Yeah,
phrase.
we gotta go. We can't linger.
Okay.
We can't be surprised anymore.
So are you blowing through the northward door?
I'm gonna take the smart approach, and I'm gonna just throw my hand. I'm gonna toss my mace at it.
Okay, so you wheel back and throw your mace. Can you make me a d20 check, please?
I 19 that.
Fantastic. So you throw it through. You manage to hit it so that it's spiraling through the doorway. The most surface area pushing through it at once. And you just see the whole door cave in on itself. And as the mace travels through the air, you actually hit a shadow that's on the other side. And it just...
Oh, it actually hit? I didn't go through?
It went through the whole door, but the mace hits the forehead of another shadow. And you look horrified as another group is on the other side.
Oh, God.
Yeah, good call, Perris. Good job.
Look, Perris.
So Perris, digs his heels in and grabs your wrist because you're going full bore toward the door. And he manages to stall you just long enough that you don't accidentally throw yourself out into the horde. And he starts looking around in a panicked state. What do you guys want to do? Because Izette, you've just lost your mace. Artist, you've already loosed another crossbow round. Or did you? No, you're still loaded.
Yeah, I still loaded, yeah.
You want to try and shoot something?
Can I take a quick look behind me first to see what the other doorway looks like?
Absolutely.
I'll do that. So they're basically right there.
Yeah, they're getting far too close for comfort.
But I mean, from what I can see, would it be better to run through that door, or would it be better to attempt to go through the north door?
If you go through the north door, they're starting to crowd around it physically.
Okay, but there's space here on the south door?
Barely. You're not sure if you can make it.
What about east and west exits? Are there east and west exits?
There is one toward the west, but you remember that this group over here was moving around.
Anything's an exit if you believe in yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So as you're
So
as you're standing here considering, I can hear the panic in your voices. there's nothing that you can do. Perris himself, even though his charm of Kalim is glowing, he's got a seriously worried look on his face. As his eyes are panicked, he's sweating, he's looking around like a trapped animal. And as you guys start to realize that there might not be a way out,
I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray to all the gods, every single one.
The ash above you starts to rattle.
Oh no!
And shadows start dropping from holes in the ceiling.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna make a break for the south and try to fire at one of the ones as I run out.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I mean, I'm gonna die anyway, so yeah.
Okay.
Can I hold on to like Perris? Be like, hey.
Absolutely.
That was nice yesterday.
Go ahead. Artist, as you start to turn around and book it, you manage to roll me a perception check. Actually, I just have to ask before you make this: is everybody enjoying this?
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
Why did you?
Can I use my inspiration on it?
Absolutely, you can.
So I just do a 2d20.
Yep, 2d20, and then you pick the highest.
Yeah, you should pick the number 2.
Yeah.
That's clearly the highest, right?
Yeah.
I go with the 13 then, right?
All right, so you're going with the 13. As you start to book past Izette and Perris, you manage to take a look at them, almost as if I'm sorry. I'm abandoning you and I know it.
Yeah.
But as you look through the window, because there's a small window just that happens to be out that way, you see let me see if I can find him real quick.
A dwarf?
There's a dwarf just sprinting through the street. Izette, artist, can you both make me a religion check, please, for a plus? We'll say a +3.
I'm praying. I'm paying right now.
Oh yeah.
The gods are like, no, you slept with way too many men. We can't give you shit.
Oh wait, you want me to make one too?
Yeah, absolutely.
With +3, you said?
+3, yep. Because you're all familiar with the temples in the area. It's on Temple Row of all places.
Wow. Okay, well I got it.
Artist, you recognize that this is the sole priest of Kalim in this town, the god of sleep, the goddess of sleep and prophecy. And he is just outright sprinting in a way that you have never seen this old man sprint before. His name's Grimdar the Prophet. He is, again, the only representative in this town. You're lucky to have him. He's saved a lot of people a lot of times with the prophecies that he's managed to get from Kalim and interpret, because she's mysteriously vague all the time, and he's usually right on with his interpretations. So the fact that he's sprinting towards you and the fact that he's still alive gives you both hope. And as the shadows are just starting to coalesce around you and reach for you, all of a sudden the window and the wall area just explodes inward in an ashfall. And he's literally launching himself towards you, full spread, with the symbol of Kalim in his hands, shining like a beacon that absolutely blows everything around you. And you feel the ash start to collapse. And all you see, Izette, you're holding Perris. Artists, you're midway into sprinting past them, and this guy is literally like Supermaning over you, and there's a flash of light. So we're going to take a 5-minute break now. And you guys get to come back.
Eric, do we need the intermission song?
I died doing what I loved, running into things.
So in our little 5-minute break, did you guys enjoy that?
That was nice.
That was pretty fun.
It's kind of a cool little intro, you know what I mean? Like, here's how well and truly the world is fucked. You ready to do this shit?
It actually makes me feel like a badass because Malcolm's been fighting these things for the better part of a year.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I want to know what happens to these characters. What
I
happens to
know, like, oh my god.
And then they all died. The end.
No, Izette!
There is a flash of
falls,
light
they
and then
die.
a fade to black, and we'll go from there.
Ash
Go get a
falls.
drink
You're
if you
the
guys
first
need it.
character that I got